Welcome to another session of iAccelerate Remote, where we talk to founders of companies that are at iAccelerate or working from home currently, who are actually thinking and working through the issues that we're all facing as a result of COVID, and for some people, for the bushfires that preceded it. So today we have the founders of Art Sensor, and they're going to let us know about their amazing and interesting product, and also about how they face these issues. So I'll turn it over to them to introduce themselves and to talk about what they're doing. So over to you.
Hello, Arman, and thank you for having us. My name is Wenwei, and you guys can call me Vivienne. And I'm just a graduate from UNSW for my master's, so I'm just like the graduate entrepreneur. I've never been to the workplace, but just step out to the school and step into the entrepreneur journey. And this is my partner.
Yeah, so I'm the co-founder. So I was a classical concert pianist before I founded this company with Wenwei. And the original idea is I want to help all the artists and then promote their welfares and increase their incomes. So it's really pure motivation to do this.
We met each other in London. So in London, that is all the culture things and all the art things. We went to the gallery, went to the museum together. From then now, we didn't have any thought about owning our own company. So our plan is just to find somewhere we can settle down, and we all find the white collar job, and then own the house, own the dog, establish a family. After I graduate, I'm quite stressed or the pressure. I don't know where I want to go, and I'm clearly know I want to create something. I don't want to do something day by day and do the same things again. And because my major is accounting and finance, so all of the things is about again and again. So and then Zhiyang has the idea that idea is about how to composing music for the existing artwork. But from that idea, we cannot commercialize at all.
Yeah.
No way. And that is cost a lot. You know how much the composer charge? They charge 600 per minute. So that is way much cost and no way to commercialize it. So from that days, I just think if you really want to do something in art, then we have to find some way, some valid business model.
So it was interesting for some founders, they already had the idea and then they decide, oh, what do I do with it? Oh, maybe then I start a company. With you, you sort of had an idea that you wanted to start a company and then you were trying to figure out the right idea, but obviously using your own knowledge and skill set. So I think it's a fascinating, different sort of view for some founders than others. But you wanted to start a business. You thought you both really wanted to do this, right? I mean, there was a real desire to have your own business rather than to work for someone else.
I think because we want to do something, and then because we want to do something, we need to establish a business. That's the thing we want to do, not actually just purely want to sell or run our own business. Right. Because we don't think that's really meaningful, because we need to have some kind of mission and vision. So it keep pushing us forward to think about new ideas, how to pivot or iterate, something like that. That's really important for us.
Yeah.
I think set up the business is iAccelerate to give us the confidence. When we first came to the iAccelerate to go into pitch, we are absolutely the new beginner.
Like we overwhelmed.
Yeah, we don't know anything about how to do the pitch, how to do the PPT, and everything's just like, I came to the IA for that presentation. It's what I'm doing in the school. That is the best thing I can do in the school. But it's IA gives us confidence.
Well, I have to say, it was one of the most beautiful pitches we'd ever seen. So we were quite impressed. We weren't sure about the business model at the time, but we thought that if anyone was going to make it work, it was going to be the two of you. We were very impressed by your enthusiasm and your knowledge and capability. So I think that's usually the magic, is that we knew whatever would happen, you'd pivot and find that place that where it made sense. So tell us about where you're at now, and then also maybe about what's happened as a result of COVID. So can you take us down the path now where you are?
First of all, we changed our name. Yeah, we changed our name from Art Sensor to the Cutie Card.
Yeah.
That is the first thing. And the second thing is it's postponed all our schedules. Actually, under normal schedules, we will hold the art fair this August. That's 2 months later. But during on the December last year, when the COVID-19 just arrived in China, and most of galleries and said we can't go there, and we just think that everything have to be postponed. Our runway and our turns to the seed fund to the next round for fundraising, everything is postponing. But we see these things as another opportunity for us. Yeah, this give us a time to slow down because both of us are quite aggressive in this whole journey. And after we came out the new idea again, like again, a lot of the new ideas, we push us to validate them quickly. Mm. And when we validate them quickly, we want to learn quickly. But after that, we just figures out maybe some mistake we can avoid if we slow down. So during this period, there's nothing we can do. We can't find our customers. So most of the time we can't do the market validate just offline. So I give myself a lot of time to go back to book. So I go back to read the Blue Ocean strategy twice. And we redesigned our strategy profile. We iterate a lot, actually. We really iterate a lot. And we sit down to talk a lot about product side with our technology team, cooperate with Wollongong, and luckily our database has been built and our all backstage things has been done. All the code has finished, and now we are completing the front side or the design and UI side, and hopefully our real product can release end of this month. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is what we are doing.
So basically we finished the API intern with the University of Wollongong. The duration is 3 months, supervised by one of the associated professor. And then there are one doctor student work with us alongside with 2 master students. Yes, so it's such an extraordinary experience to work with them because they gave us so many different insights and their opinions towards our business, and there's so many aspirations they gave us as well. And then our next step is basically we're already doing is the CRC Smart Region program led by the University of Adelaide. So we will be part of them, and I'm pretty sure we'll get the spot to work under this scheme because we want to focus on the original art as well. The reason is the original is always neglected by the community and the society, not just in Australia, but around the world. But they got their a completely different idea towards art or towards the world, and they need to be recorded and to be seen by a wider group of audience. So that's the reason why we want to help all those original artists, not just like expand their audience size, but expose their artwork, their pieces to the world. So let the people see how great things they have made.
Yeah, that's really interesting area. I mean, some people have been talking about how to help make sure that Aboriginal people, Indigenous people aren't that aren't taken advantage of, that they're given very little for their art and for their cultural expression. And that a lot of other people make a lot of money, but they don't retain that. Have you looked at any sort of blockchain or capability for that value that they have in their original art to continue to grow over time as the art is found, sold, and resold? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. Our database we record the aesthetic part from each single paintings. And from that part, we can go back to track how the people feeling about it. So we can analyze people's personal preference about art. So that is all about the human's behavior. And we all know the art, the pricing art is depending on how the people feeling about it. If we can go back to trace what sort of things can make people like it, then we can estimate, we can predict what's the price and what value about this specific artwork. And the blockchain in some ways we saw it as a tool to make sure the authenticity of the art, and that can protect the artist, the artwork, and also the collectors.
Could they retain some value in that art so that after it's sold and resold, that they continue to see some of that gain back to the original artist, or is that not possible?
Yeah,
we haven't considered this question yet, but actually that's a really good inspiration as well. We may think about that.
Especially the post-pandemic world, the most art collector, they are thinking, are they going to hold all the artwork for a lifelong time? They started to thinking, should I really collecting art, or in some way maybe the collector can change the way to collect art? So from this perspective, maybe blockchain, they can be the good tool. The people can have the token of each share of the artwork, and maybe that artwork can display in some public galleries, and that everybody can have the see that not everybody can own this piece of the artwork, but the communities and the board of audience can see, can appreciate this artwork.
And we have attended several sections held by Art Basel, one of the most esteemed organizations in the art world, and they already talk about the damage this pandemic have caused to the art industry, and they also talk about the transformation they need to make from offline to online, and basically that's the reason why we think this pandemic is a unprecedented opportunity for us to seize these market share, so we can grow really fast.
I think you are showing that these are opportunists. Like a lot of founders, they see opportunism in anything, and that you've looked at the other side of what's happening and say, okay, well, what does that mean to our business? And maybe it's, instead of being a really bad thing because the artists are now going to be unemployed and all that, which is going to be happening, is that you say, well, maybe we can move the model forward and also help them get back on their feet by giving them more access to a market. So to wrap things up, if you had a founder in front of you who was really feeling down in the dumps and about this whole situation, not sure if they should continue on or not, you may have had that feeling once in a while yourselves. What would you tell them to sort of to help them see them through that moment or that anxiety they may be having?
At the beginning of this pandemic, I'm quite anxiety, and I do think, and on the other hand, I feel so lucky because we just finished our first round, the pre-seed round with Artisan last December. So we really start at work just end of January. Yeah, we are starting to work. So from that way, we're already in the pandemic situation. So we adjust us quickly. That is the lucky side. But the unlucky side is we don't know where we can go. We really have no idea. And before this pandemic, all our business model is how to give the people the online marketplace can help them to buy art. But after that, every investor is just asking us, what are you going to do when the people's disposable income going to decrease? And they are not going to buy art. Art isn't necessary things. And just every investor asking me these questions, and I really have no idea how to answer that question, because that is a fact. And that fact is going to last a long time.
For me, I think the most important thing is that there's a long way to go, especially for entrepreneurship, because you always encounter something you have no idea what it is, and then there's something happen, like the pandemic, and then you have no idea how to deal with it. So for me, I also read books, and now I'm on with the Hitmaker. So I think this book is super good. It's recommended by one of the founder of Sequoia. So I think it enlightened me a lot, especially in the product design, and especially how to make something that can attract like what they call blockbuster. Yeah. So that's why. And
it's called Heatmaker.
Yeah, Heatmaker. I can show you, Jeff. Just let me say.
He's so excited about that book.
Oh, you might get a royalty for pushing it. Hitmakers. Oh, sorry. Okay, I misunderstood. How to succeed in the age of. Okay.
Yes. No, distraction.
Of distraction. I thought it was destruction, but anyway, distraction. Okay.
Yes, I think really good timing to read this book.
Yeah. Well, I think the one thing you didn't say is that you keep a very positive attitude, and the two of you showing that you're not only resilient, but you have a lot of optimism in the way you look at the world. And thinking that there's always a solution to every problem, even if you have to go back to basics. And you call it the books you go back to. I think for different people, maybe it's different things, but it's very insightful and very, I think you've given us a really good thinking about where you've been, where you're going. And I hope other founders will feel equally inspired by that. So thank you again for sharing your time. And this is Omar Khalifa with iAccelerate Remote, and we'll see you at the next session.
Yep. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.